Hey guys, it's Rusty Nelson talking watercolor. Well, if you've been following the saga of the technology debacle in my previous post on Monday and some of my posts I put on community on YouTube, you know I've had a technological meltdown, and I'm just trying to kind of tread water for this week at least and keep things going. I made Monday's post was just a talking head again, just kind of updating everybody as to what's going on and where I'm at in all of this and the new skills I'm having to learn. And I'm still working on editing my watercolor face, the Pretty Girl watercolor face tutorial. And it's requiring more editing than I was expecting. So it's going to be a fun one to do in new software. So anyway, that's where I'm at. You know, I'm driving the struggle bus right now. So trying to develop some new skills in new software and waiting for a new computer to show up, which will upgrade my video production capabilities quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, welcome new viewers. Anybody that's just stumbling onto this channel for the first time, and this might be the first talking watercolor you've joined. And actually I've been thinking, giving this some consideration, as in I think I need to rename my vlog and my podcast, because looking at all of the top ranking videos on my channel, they have been drawing tutorials and not watercolor tutorials. So I initially started the channel thinking that this was an opportunity for me to do more and more watercolor and do lessons on it. But actually my drawing tutorials and face and drawing people tutorials are the most popular so far. So I've been trying to bridge the gap by doing more and more watercolor tutorials, but painting people hasn't been what I've been focusing on for the last 5-6 years. Well, probably since 2018, when I really started getting really hot and heavy into doing watercolors and really working to improve my skills. So yeah, I'm now trying to bring that back over. Now, when I was painting predominantly with gouache and the topics and things with my illustrations and everything I used to do, they did have a lot of people in them. So I do have some wet media experience. It just wasn't transparent, translucent watercolors. It was the opaque watercolors, which has a whole different way of working, or it can. It definitely evolved for me over time to become a transparent technique. So anyway, that yeah, I've been thinking about changing that. But if you are a new viewer, got to circle back around here. If you are a new viewer, that's what we do here on this channel. Is I'm teaching people how to begin a creative journey, either with watercolor or with drawing, and just giving you the foundation skills that you need to become better and better, and to stay engaged. You know, my audience is predominantly, you know, anywhere from 45 plus. That's the bulk of my audience. And it's funny that my least populated demographic on my YouTube channel are the people that I actually teach up at the university, the 18 to 24-year-olds. So I guess I get them in person, and I'm getting everybody else who may have had to set their drawing and artistic things aside as they get careers started. Now they're interested in getting back into it or picking it up for the first time. I've had I have several really nice comments about I've managed to inspire people to pick up and start working with their drawing and their watercolor and their creative journey again. You know, they've set it aside for a number of years, and now they want to learn it, or they just really have seen it and think, okay, I could do this. This is something to do, something I would like doing. So that's a neat thing to hear from people in the comments. So, but that's what we're doing here. And if you're new to the channel, join in, hit that subscribe button, and like any of these videos you are watching. If you're new to the channel, I have a pretty good backlog. I've been doing it for just over a year, about a year and 3 months now. So I'm still learning. I'm still developing skills and honing my persona on screen. And it's coming along. I'm getting much more comfortable speaking on camera and looking into that little evil eye that's staring back at me. But I did have some good questions also that I wanted to address today. Was I think it was Tema mentioned the pieces behind me, the watercolors, and then the pastel landscape behind me. So I was going to just kind of give you a quick overview of those things that you see on the wall behind me. And I've had actually people comment on the horse-drawn Reaper over here. That's from an antique photograph. That's from the era of my interest visually. We're working with antique photographs, old black and white photographs, anywhere from 80 to 100 years old, and then using them as a basis for I'm looking at the painting on my wall, using them as a basis for my illustrations. And it's a lot of what I did in graduate school. So that's one of them. That was post-graduate school, though. So here, let me get this out of the way. There we go. You can see it better. And there you go. So it's a little better. You can see it. I think, I'll have to remember, I think it's posted on my website. I think I might have went and looked and it wasn't there, but I think I posted it since then. So if you want to see the piece without the reflective glare of my glow sticks and everything over there on it, go over to my website. Links should be on YouTube somewhere, either in my video description or on my channel page. You can click on it and go over to my website. And then the Altar Boy, that was a composite. That was a very early gouache that I did in graduate school, that I was kind of experimenting and developing the technique working with gouache. So that's a composite image, two different images I put together and painted in the gouache wash pick out technique that I developed back then. So that was kind of fun. And that I worked with that technique for, gosh, good 20 years before it really started evolving, because I came into higher education and started teaching illustration class. And I realized the students really didn't have any experience with any kind of wet media. So we started doing some, it was cheesy Terry, I think it was Terry Madden, watercolor, introduction to watercolor videos. I was teaching my class in illustration that, which led me to kind of start transitioning over to full-blown transparent watercolor. So thank you, Terry. You're the man. So it was on VHS tape even. So that was kind of the history of those two pieces there. So they're anywhere from 25, 30-year-old watercolor or gouache illustrations that I did. And then the piece right over my shoulder, the little blue sky with the sunrise, that's a pastel. That is from Debbie Wagner, and Debbie's gained some pretty good notoriety for painting Kansas sunrises from north central Kansas. Every morning she goes and she's got a gorgeous window to look out of, and she looks out upon the Kansas horizon. And north central Kansas has some nice rolling hills and things like that. It's not totally flat like western Kansas, but Kansas, of course, with no mountains or any distinguishing wonderful features like that, it's all about the sky. And you got to catch the mornings and the evenings. They're just glorious when the sun goes down in the evening. So Debbie does a daily sunrise, and this one happens to be the morning. And she dates them all. Every morning she dates them, has a copy of it. She records it and everything. And every morning she goes out and paints it, dates it, gets it ready. People buy them like crazy. And then she'll even rework because she has such a good catalog and method of documenting everything. She can recreate each one of the ones if somebody needs a specific day. This day on mine, right behind me, that is the morning my mother died. She had ALS, and she died on January 8th, and that's the sunrise in Kansas on January 8th. So a lot of people buy them for these very sentimental reasons, for remembrances and things like that. My daughter has several. She has one of the day she got married and things like that. So it's pretty cool to have, and I feel very honored that Debbie gave us these pieces that she's so well known for. So those are the things behind me. And I have a whole stack of watercolors up against the wall. If you watched my Monday post, I gave it kind of a behind the scenes glimpse of my studio. It's not a very big space, and I'm in the basement. I'm that classic guy in the basement, right, talking to a camera. And so you got to see my rig, my lights, my iPad set up, everything that I do to shoot my tutorials with. But if you look real quick, you can see my stack of watercolors up against the wall there. So there's a number of them that I have. I've sold a bunch, but that's the cool thing with watercolor is that, man, you can really crank and produce them. But I haven't been as productive on artwork in the last year and 3 months since I started my YouTube channel. I've gotten some pretty nice watercolors from my tutorials, but they're really more about the tutorial of doing the things and not so much about producing artwork. So they've been a lot smaller because of the limitations I have, mainly with how I'm doing it with iPhones and iPads and then porting stuff over to a computer. There's just some limitations that I've been trying to keep my videos to a very short, within an hour. If I'm having to film something for 2 to 3 hours, which a nice watercolor typically takes me about 2.5, 3 hours, I don't like shooting a tutorial any much more than an hour. So I'm really having to develop a lot of new skills and speed up my processes to get to that point. So anyway, that's that. I've addressed that. Oh, and Tema also made a comment, and she was asking about the fact that there's not many really good intermediate tutorials out on YouTube, which that has me thinking. I think there's some really good reasons why, but I want to try to dedicate maybe another talking head specifically oriented around that discussion of beginner to intermediate to advanced tutorials. And is there such a thing, I think, is the question that I'm kind of rolling around in my mind, because it's not necessarily that an intermediate tutorial is going to be much different than a beginner tutorial. It's really about the time on task. But I don't want to get too deep in that. I'll do a specific, maybe my Monday video wasn't long enough to be categorized for being monetized. So it was like just under, it was like 7 minutes and 58 seconds or something like that. So it didn't quite reach the qualification to be monetized. So I'm going to make sure I do at least a 10-minute discussion on beginner, intermediate, and advanced level tutorials and what that means and where you need to go, which leads me to a number of thoughts as to maybe it's not so much the tutorial itself, it's more of a process and or program that you follow to reach intermediate status. So anyway, look for that video. That's coming up. I'm going to get that head video. I am currently editing it in new software. In my Monday tutorial, I edited it on an iPad in Davinci Resolve, and the color is horrible. I haven't figured out the color balancing, the LUTs and everything in that yet. I think my watercolor tutorial, I'll have figured that out a little better. It's a pretty extensive edit job, mainly because that freaking head demo, that pretty girl tutorial, was intended to be a fast one. And it turned out I worked on that and recorded at least an hour and 5 minutes worth of raw video. And I don't think the hour-long videos really don't perform that well on YouTube. So I'm going to go in, I'll do a kind of a speed up in the long sections. There's some long sections in stage 2 where I'm starting to do a lot more saturation and big shapes and bringing the image up. And then stage 3, where all the fussy crap happens, that takes the longest, and you're just kind of bouncing around, fussing with stuff. That really is. That's like, that is literally watching paint dry. So I'm going to speed that up, do a little, have voiceover Rusty come in and do a little color work on top of the sped up sections and stuff. So anyway, look for that. I'm hoping that should drop on Saturday. We have my dad's 90th birthday party to attend this weekend, so we're cutting out early on Friday, and I'll be back at it on Monday. I'll see if I can get a quick little drawing tutorial shot sometime either today, tomorrow, or Thursday before we leave, and then I can do a quick edit on it and get it posted for Monday. So I'm thinking maybe an ink drawing. I do have a marker comp planned, but I think I'll do that the following week. So it's starting to get crazy. It's spring semester up at the school. The students are starting to feel the pressure of the semester starting to collapse in on them. So it's getting a little nutty, and yeah, it always is in the spring. So the spring semester is crazy. So I'm looking definitely forward to summer and getting the little break or a little time I can focus in on YouTube and gain back my equilibrium on life, school, YouTube, and all of that stuff. So, hey, I hope you got some value out of today's talk. Let me know if you did. Drop me a comment, hit the like button, subscribe, head over to my video description. I have all sorts of kind of continuous links, affiliate links in there for supplies, equipment. There's some downloads that you can get off of my YouTube about Loomis, about Riley, about some Bridgman techniques. And if you do think I'm doing anything of any serious value that you would like to financially support, give me a $5 a month membership on Patreon and help me keep the lights on, buy that new damned equipment that's coming in. So I want to keep this channel going, and that's a good way to do it. So thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next Talking Watercolor.